Well, good morning, everyone. Well, good morning, everyone. Sorry. Um, I'm not going to have a whole bunch of numbers to show you. I'm going to have a couple of slides and I'll make this quick. I know everybody's on the end of the fourth day of being here at least, and they all want to get home. So I'm going to try and get through this as quick as possible. And if I have some time at the end, I'll probably get into what we've developed in terms of upgrading application systems for the rendering industry. Just the top one, right? Yep. Yep. Good.
See this arrow here.
That one there?
Yeah,
Okay.
see this goes back.
Okay. Back and forth. Okay. On today's agenda, we'll cover global trends, regional trends, and individual, I don't know, individual, I can't, yeah, individual antioxidants. Sorry. A little introduction about CFS. CFS is has been in business for over 90 years. They started in India as a stationery company where they were supplying stationery products to schools, inks, crayons, and whatnot for that industry. And over the years, they divested into that and grown into the chemical industry. And since and we started with plants in about the 1960s, 70s on the antioxidants, making hydroquinone, the chemical which is used to make TBHQ, as well as catechol, which the hydroquinone, you're able to make the TBHQ, BHA, and ascorbyl palmitate. So sorry, I can't see without my glasses. All right. Yeah, we are the largest producer of BHA. We manufacture our own BHT today. And we also are manufacturing rosemary extract for natural. So in the synthetic space, we are fully integrated today, and we're almost fully integrated in the natural space where we have our rosemary, as I mentioned, but we'll have mixed alcohol production by the end of 2024 ready, because right now we are testing those products. We're getting great results, and we'll be able to bring our own to the market in near the end of this year. Just gonna go forward here. Antioxidants, I don't think I got to explain to everybody what antioxidants do. Most of the people here use antioxidants to preserve their meals and fats. And all we're doing is we're delaying oxidation, of course. And I'm going to use this to walk over there so I can see a little bit better. So the button better. Okay. All right. I'm gonna walk over here. So where are antioxidants applied? Well, obviously you have in the rendering industry, you can apply them in the raw materials. You can apply them in cook, and you can apply them after cook. What we're seeing is that being I'm global, I do worldwide. So when you take a look at the process here in the U.S., you're more just doing an application after cook more often. And if you take around the world everywhere else, it's the complete opposite, where they're doing in cook first, and then or in cook or application on the raw material before cook, and then post cook like we do here. But here it's only because the material is fresh and we're able to process it a lot quicker. In other global regions, it's not the case. The product will sit longer, so they do an application pre-cook or in cook to make sure that the product is preserved correctly. So we all know that the raw material comes in, it's cooked, it goes through the press, the hammer mill, shaker screen, and then you have your finished meal. What we like to do is we do applications right after the press, and the reason we want to do applications after the press is because we feel that you've cooked the product, you've pressed the product, and now you need to preserve the product, but you're putting it through a hammer mill, shaker screen, so you're causing oxidation, and then you're adding the antioxidant after that. So what we do is we like to apply 50% right on the cracks after the press, and 50% after the hammer mill and the shaker screen, meaning before loadout or storage. And when the pet food industry, when they're doing their applications, well, the meals that come in have an application on them, and then they'll do their kibble matrix. They'll add some more antioxidant in the kibble matrix. Will go through the extruder, the dryer, and then when they coat the kibble, what they'll do is they'll add the fat onto the kibble. There's an application of an antioxidant. There's already been a treatment of antioxidant in the fat, but most pet food manufacturers in the line to their quota will add more antioxidant to make sure that they have the protection they needed. And then, of course, there's an application that is in the palatant as well, and then that coats finally the kibble. And the reason that the kibble needs to be stabilized and preserved is for salmonella. It's not necessarily for the pets, but it's for the little kids that grab a handful of kibbles running around on the floor, eat it, and then they get sick. So the pet food manufacturers make sure that the kibble is very stable. In terms of synthetic antioxidants, they are more cost-effective solutions. They're more tolerant to heat and stress, and there's no flavor impact, meaning no palatability concerns. The natural, you get the clean label, you get they're consumer friendly, and they are sustainable. And for CFS, our synthetic line is called Extendra versus, and then natural, our natural line is called Nature. Global trends. Yeah, we are transparent. On the naturals, you have the clean label. It's matrix dependent. We can remove essential components if need be. And sustainability, they're ethically sourced. They're concentrated products that save cost. Transport, packaging, that's to support the sustainability, and it minimizes the impact on the supply chains, of course. And for wellness, the demand of natural, organic, plant-based for the U.S. is higher than any other region. It's the complete opposite. The U.S. is like 90% natural, and when you take all the other regions globally, they're synthetic, which to me was pretty surprising when I saw that Europe was synthetic, mostly 90%, with a total reverse of us here. That was surprising to me, but that is the case. CFS is a global company, and we are Indian based, as I mentioned earlier. And what we do is we have different locations globally where we blend all our actives. So all our actives are manufactured in India, and then they're distributed to our different regions, and they're blended according to the specifications and needs of the customer. So for the U.S., we have Iowa, Des Moines, Iowa, where we have our headquarters. We have Mexico City in Mexico. We have Indaiatuba in Brazil, which is about 2 hours out of Sao Paulo. And in Italy, we have Ravenna, Italy, for Europe. And then we have, of course, India that does all of Asia Pacific. And we have a facility that is in Malaysia to help out that region as well. Now I'm going to get to what I was supposed to talk about, which is the antioxidant and their trends and their markets. Atoxaquin, we all know that we all know in industry that atoxaquin was a great product, very cost efficient, very efficient. However, in 2022, the European Union Authority Commission implemented a ban on the use of EQ of the atoxaquin in feed. And social media continues to pressure pet food, aquaculture, and feed industries to replace EQ. Europe, none at all. I don't think there's anybody in pet food here that is using, meaning in the US, using EQ. There is still some in feed. And so it's being replaced because of the impact of the carcinogen of that product that has been determined. Next, we have BHA. We are the largest, CFS is the largest producer, manufacturer of BHA. The estimated global capacity is around 4,000 metric tons. In April 22, the EU Commission authorized the use of BHA. It was a big concern for pet food globally, everywhere except here for the US because we don't use synthetic. And it was as an additive in cats. And now the market on BHA is pretty stable, and the supply of raw material is good. We have two facilities that we produce hydroquinone to make the raw material for BHA. So we're very well positioned. There's plenty of raw material available to produce the BHA. TBHQ, the estimated global capacity is about 9,000 metric tons. We are the largest manufacturer of TBHQ in the world. But again, there's concerns with the TBHQ in Europe. You can't use a TBHQ in Europe. The market is stable, and the supply of raw material, as I said previously, is same as the BHA. BHT, it's 82,000 metric tons estimated globally. It's not only used, you know, as an antioxidant. It's used in rubbers for tires, transformer oils, biofuels, plastics, food, as well as printing inks. And it's an unstable market. When we saw when the, I think it was in 21, 22, there was a producer here in the US called Sasol who was producing about 10% of the global volume of BHT. They stopped producing. They had environmental issues and were forced to stop producing. And at the same time, we had that crisis in Russia with Ukraine. And Russia is the largest producer of BHT in the world. So it put a lot of stress on the BHT. And we saw the BHT go up, you know, 3 times. It was 3 times the price that it was usually at. And there's a lot of people that were using the BHT that requested that there was no Russian material in the BHT. So it had a large impact on the cost and on the supply. And now, however, it's pretty much calmed down. We're able to see prices. They're probably at their lowest right now. But there's always a variable with BHT, and it can turn around and jump at one point. But we're just you know, playing it by ear. But what we've done when we saw that crisis, when the BHT went up so high, we turned around and tested blends of BHA with TBHQ and TBHQ only, and the price of the cost in use with those blends using the TBHQ was actually lower than the price of the BHT at that time. So there are alternate solutions if this goes you know, haywire again. Then we do have solutions in place, and we've done tests, so we have results and data to use TBHQ to replace BHT. Propylgallate, the estimated global capacity is 2,500 metric tons. Majority in China and Peru. The market is stable on that. There's decreasing demand, but there's a steady supply of raw material, and that product is susceptible to weather and labor. Ascorbyl palmitate, about 1,000 metric tons globally, majority in the EU. That market is stable. Tocopherols, 26,000 metric tons, estimated capacity globally. Majority of the producers are China and US. And the material typically used for the better performing mixed tocopherol is soybean. You can use rapeseed, sunflower, and others, but they're not as efficient. So the soybean is the one that is the one that most commonly used, especially when we're talking about pet food. And that product goes according to the sterol production, which is a byproduct of the soybean. It's a volatile market. Limited production of the sterols always pushes up the cost of the mixed tocopherols, and that is one of the reasons why CFS is getting into mixed tocopherol to be able to have a steady supply. And being that we're producing those mixed tocopherols in India, it allows us to have a GMO-free product, as same as the following the rosemary, because we in India there's nothing that is GMO. It's not allowed. It's not permitted. So everything out of our production sites in terms of natural solutions, antioxidant solutions in India, are all natural and non-GMO. Next is the rosemary. It's a growing market. There's producers spreading over all regions. The active compounds are the carnosic acid, rosmanic acid, and the market is pretty stable. It has stabilized now, and that's another reason that the CFS got into the production of that, to make us fully integrated in the natural space as well as the synthetic space. So we're hoping to have our mixed tocopherols completed by the end of this year, 2024. At that point, it'll make us the only manufacturer of antioxidants globally that is fully integrated in both synthetic and natural spaces. And that's it for me. But I would like to talk about application systems, because that is something that we've worked on. And Anna, you'll let me know when I get to my time limit, okay? Because I haven't put a timer on. So the application systems, what we've done is we've upgraded application systems to be able to quantify how much antioxidant is being added when you're adding your antioxidant to the meals and or fats. And the reason we've done that is because we all know that antioxidants work if you apply them correctly. If you don't apply them correctly, that's when you get into issues. So we've partnered with a engineering company, and we've developed an application system where we can now quantify the application in real time, and we can document it. So you have documentation for QA, you have documentation for audits, and we've pushed it even further where, renderers, that your application is set, let's say, at 5,500 ppms, and you average your throughput at let's say 8,000 pounds an hour. Well, we all know that production isn't always supplying 8,000 pounds an hour. It fluctuates up or down. So being that you have a set application rate, you're over applying or under applying, under applying, and you're hoping that at the end of the day, when you finish that, you've covered it, and your average is okay, and that you've had 500 ppm application across the board. But it's not always the case. And if the production stops once you've turned on the system, if you stop production and you forget to turn off the application system, then you're just spraying some antioxidant and you're losing value, basically. So what we've done is we've developed with our partner a mass bulk flow sensor that is before the spray nozzle. And as long as we know the bulk density, the material, the dimension of the screw and the auger, we take pictures consistently, and we're able to relay what that throughput is at the application site. And so we're always consistent on the application. It doesn't vary. And we've done some tests in last November out at a processor in Europe. And what we've seen with our system is that we're getting 20 to 25% better coverage with our antioxidant with that sensor there. So we've been able to prove that out, and we're very happy with that. And we're promoting that. So there's other details on the application system that I could talk about, but if you need more information on that, please reach out to me, and I'll be more than glad to fill you in on what is needed on that. And with that,